I've spoken a bit lately about anti-Semitism in Australia and around the world, how hateful, cruel and dangerous it is, and how not enough is being done to combat it. And the Albanese Labor government and the broader political left is only making this worse. You see, the trouble is they spend so much time criticising Israel, warning Israel about its actions, that it just gives licence to the haters.
I have very deep concerns about the idea of an Israeli military operation in Rafa. This is a place where people who've been displaced from their homes, often because their homes don't exist anymore, have been told to go to be safe.
Instead of marshalling political and public debate against Hamas, against terrorism, against the terrorists that run Gaza and have run it for almost 2 decades, Labor and the political left around the world criticise Israel for fighting back. Instead of demanding the return of all hostages, the hostages brutally taken when Hamas slaughtered 1,200 innocent people, remember them? Kids at a music festival, families in their homes, people on the street. Instead of demanding the return of all the surviving hostages as the precondition for any ceasefire, any resolution, Labor and others just call for Israel to stop, to just give up on its hostages, to just give up on defeating the Hamas extremists intent on murdering as many Jews as they can. By targeting Israel in this way, the political left, including our own government, only give licence to the anti-Semitic radicals here and around the world, because it puts the blame on Israel for a conflict that was inflicted on them by Hamas. War is horrible. That is not news to any of us. And it's tragically inevitable that innocents get killed, even though you can't believe a single word or number coming out of Gaza. But this is why peace is imperative. And too many forget that Israel is fighting for its very survival. Hamas and its supporters, including other terror groups such as Islamic Jihad or the Shia terror army of Hezbollah, and the sovereign nations who back them, such as Iran, all want Israel gone, obliterated from the map, eradicated from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean coastline. The way to end this war must be for Hamas to hand back the 130 hostages it still holds and for the Hamas terrorists to surrender. Listen to one freed Israeli hostage talking about what's been happening to other female hostages. A warning, it's distressing.
כל פעם שפגשתי מישהו היה לפחות מישהי או מישהו אחד שחוו התעללות מינית והתעללות פיזית. כמעט, כאילו חצי מהן, ולא פגשתי את כל הבנות שנמצאות שם. והיא אמרה לי שהיא פשוט לא הפסיקה לבכות והוא פשוט לא הפסיק לעשות את מה שהוא עושה. והוא נהנה מזה. וכל החצי שעה הזאת, הנשק בראש שלה. אין לה ברירה אחרת. שאלתי אותה כאילו, ועשית את זה? היא מספרת לי את הסיפור, ואני שואלת אותה כאילו, מה, תגידי, עשית משהו בקש? היא אומרת לי כאילו, מה זאת אומרת? כאילו, ברור. לא הייתה לי את האופציה שלו. כי הנשק, הוא לרגע לא עזב את הנשק מהראש שלה.
Just terrible. The organisation responsible for the death of innocent Palestinians is Hamas, the terror group elected to run Gaza nearly 2 decades ago, but which has been more intent on killing Jews and eliminating Israel than on providing a future for Palestinians. Israel has released this video of the Hamas leader behind the October the 7th atrocities, Yahya Sinwar, fleeing through the Hamas tunnel network under Gaza with children and terrorist aides by his side. One of the terrorists who started the conflict hiding from it underground while others suffer above. The Israelis have also shown some of the sophisticated underground facilities of Hamas, where we see UN aid bags and stashes of millions of dollars in cash. Above ground, what is unfolding is the doing of Hamas. The terrorists could end it tomorrow. And those who demand Israel does not take action in Rafa, at the southern end of Gaza, where many Palestinians are gathered, need to consider that this is where Israeli troops on the back of air raids have been able to take on Hamas terrorists on the ground and free 2 more hostages who'd been held for 128 days. They are the lucky ones. How many more Israeli hostages are being held in Rafa or below Rafa? How many Hamas terrorists are operating from Rafa and below Rafa? How much weaponry is being illegally imported through tunnels from Rafa into Egypt? These are the practical questions that impact on Israeli lives, on the hostages' lives, and on the very future of Israel. This is why calling for Israel just to give up, no matter what propaganda is directed against them, is really a call for Israel to give up on the lives of its own people and to gamble on its own future. Yet this is what we get from world leaders and our own government.
Many of Israel's friends have expressed deep concerns about the reports of an Israeli military operation in Rafah. It is our view that Israel should listen to its friends and to the international community.
The United Nations too, unsurprisingly, given its long-standing preoccupation with criticising Israel, goes along with this logic. Of course the war must stop. Of course innocent civilians must be freed from this horror. Of course the Palestinian people need peace and security. But the way to do that is to demand Hamas end its terror, hand over the hostages, and allow the Palestinian people to find a leadership that's interested in the future rather than one obsessed with killing Jews.